As a child, I developed a trans identity as a result of a brutal sexual assault. I decided I was going to be a boy because I never wanted to have my body violated the way I was when I was a girl. Thankfully, my school psychologist was able to work with me and help me resolve those feelings. Unfortunately, now, many states have banned therapy that will help children who have developed a trans identity as a result of a trauma. And even worse, these children are being pushed to medically transition. Thankfully, I wasn't medically transitioned, but a lot of other children have not been so lucky.
Is that I am a detransitioner. So I was born biologically female and I transitioned to live as a man in my 20s. I had to come to terms with the fact that I was experiencing transition regret.
I started experiencing dysphoria at 9 years old after being sexually abused. I lived as a boy for several years.
One of those people everybody's calling a pediatric transitioner. I was on hormones for 7 years. Really confusing thing. Coming out of a trans narrative was definitely one of the top 3 worst experiences of my life so far.
I was on T for a year. I've got quite a bit of body hair. It makes me really uncomfortable.
The fact that I am one of them big, scary detransitioned women, meaning that between the ages of like 13-ish to 21-ish, 22 now, I did identify as transgender.
Transitioning was like suicide without a gun, the knives, or a handful of pills.
I was 15, started with the interest sort of side, but within about less than a month I was identifying as trans. Regardless of whatever questions sort of came up, they were more than eventually willing to do what I wanted them to do. If you ask for it, you get it, basically. With how the trans community was, you sort of knew which answers to give to some of the questions.
I'm a 21-year-old female and I've been in the process of detransitioning for about 2 years now. I've searched Google for the absolute ages and I've yet never found the answer that pertains to this. Is it possible to get reconstructive surgery after top surgery? I'm 3 years post-op and I have so much regret over this decision.
So this is a video about my detransition. My name is BC Hallowell, and essentially I spent the last around year and a half as a trans woman. And now I'm detransitioning. I've gotten off of my hormones and I'm moving toward identifying as a man.
I relate to this. So much of my dysmorphia or dysphoria is related to abuse I suffered at the hands of others as a child, preteen. I still have to unlearn that.
So I just went to my endocrinologist and I told him that I wanted to detransition.
My name's Carrie. I'm a 22-year-old detransition woman. I was a pediatric transitioner, so I started medical transition when I was underage. So detransition for me was about firstly discovering and acknowledging that my dysphoria had these causes, that it wasn't, just some innate identity, basically that it was a maladaptive coping mechanism for me.
Today, I work with people who are all detransitioners, everybody who has regret, who wish they hadn't done it, and the term that they use when they contact me is that it's the biggest mistake they've ever made in their life. Strangely, the mistake and the regret doesn't set in until sometimes 3 to 15 years after undergoing the surgery. It takes that long for the regret to manifest itself into what did I do? I made this mistake, now what do I do?
I regret is the change in my voice. I transitioned, I took testosterone for 3 years,